Welcome back to the show, Reds. This is the Shankly Sessions, the Liverpool podcast we bring you as part of the upper tier. Make sure you're smashing that subscribe button, hitting that bell notification button, and of course the most important, the like down below on the video. So important. This is a match reaction kind of recap. Liverpool 2, Bologna 0. Once again making hard work of what should have been a reasonable evening in the Champions League. As always, can sometimes be a little bit nervous. Arne Slot's first Champions League game at Anfield. Crowd started off in full voice but got very nervous. Certainly in the preview, we couldn't have got it more wrong. We expected Bologna to kind of sit back, sit in, looking at the form that they've showed over the season so far. They didn't seem to be this kind of attacking team. Not a lot of goals in the side. And tended to defend very well with a lot of draws on their record so far this season. But they changed the narrative up. I mean, the possession was 52-48, so it was kind of a shared game as such. We were kind of out of control at times. Didn't use the ball very wisely, didn't hang on to the ball, didn't make Bologna work really hard. At times didn't even look like the home team. But on the night, scoring 2 goals, the first coming from McAllister on 11 minutes, Salah with the assist, a beautiful ball to the back stick. We had choices of who put the ball in. McAllister did put it in, Diaz right behind him. So phenomenal from those boys. And then we thought after 11 minutes, get the goal, settle down, get into a rhythm, put a few more goals in, make a couple of subs, and then we're on the road to Crystal Palace. But that wasn't to be the case. Bologna pulling the strings for a long period in this game at times, keeping control of the ball, winning second balls, passing the break all the time, breaking the press, and coming out looking much better than we did. We struggled to play out from the back at times, to the point where Alisson started kicking the ball into midfield and kicking it even longer just to try and release it a bit better. We were making hard work of it. A lot of players on the night looking very ordinary. Obviously Gravenberch still absolutely phenomenal. McAllister's work rate and his ability to win back the ball and get stuck in and stuff was absolutely phenomenal. Dom, while working really hard and stuff like that, obviously got the assist for Mo's goal. We'll talk about it in a second, of course. But really kind of working really hard, shooting through to make that press happen and stuff like that. But it's sometimes that front line is a little bit confusing in the way they're trying to run it and stuff like that. It kind of feels like it should be a 3 with a man at the tip, but more often than not it's playing like a flat 4 nearly, so and confusion as well in the break, or in the press, sorry I should say. Who's going to press, who's going to move forward and stuff. That Dom seemed to be doing a lot of that hard work there last night. Just his use of the ball, maybe when he does pick up the ball and stuff like that, is a little bit questionable, a little bit unlucky and stuff like that. A couple of opportunities that really should have reached Darwin and stuff like that. We hear a lot of people going in on Darwin at the moment and stuff like that, but realistically, if you look at the time he had last night, he didn't really get a huge amount of service. And when he did, he was a little bit unlucky. He took that lovely one down as well, had that shot near post on the left, and unlucky for the offside one, which he finished really nice. And it just, I think with Darwin, it's going to take time. You can see his confidence is a little bit shot and stuff like that. Arne Slot coming out and saying, nah, he's not worried. 3 games, he hasn't had a lot of game time and stuff like that. And he will create the opportunity. So he says, let's give it more time and see how it goes. But Arne's not a man to mince his words either as well. If something has to be said, it will be said. Don't worry about that, Reds. Let's talk about that Mo Salah goal. We kind of knew it was going to come on the night, didn't we, really, eventually? Like, when you're not playing well, when the game kind of isn't going your way in terms of in-game and stuff like that, Mo is the guy, isn't he, who shows up with those magical moments. Textbook goal from Mo Salah, absolutely beautiful finish, curled into the top corner, keeper had no choice. How many times have we seen Mo Salah cut in right to left, go along the line of the box and let fly? And the one thing I was screaming at the TV last night was, lads, have a shot. We don't know how good this keeper is. Keep on having shots even from distance, ask the questions, stuff like that. Soon as Mo does it, back in the net, 2-0, then the game was pretty much done at that stage, because we knew that Bologna, they're not high scoring really in any way. Mo Salah, the first Liverpool player to score in 5 consecutive Champions League home games. This man just keeps on breaking record after record after record. We really, Reds, we really need to do everything we can to get this man over the line and get him signed up, don't we? It would be an absolute travesty I know from a financial point of view it kind of makes sense, obviously, for Mo Salah at this stage in his career and stuff like that. But I don't know. I think it would be an absolute travesty for a player of his quality to be heading off to somewhere like the Saudi League. Would really, really, really. I mean, he's so on top of his game still, you know. Even when the game is kind of going against you and you're not flowing and your passing is disjointed. And even when we look at Mo Salah at times and we say, why isn't Arne at times hooking him and stuff like that? Well, he answered that last night. That goal is why Arne Slot does not hook Mo Salah, because we know he has that bit of magic in him at any given moment. And it was great to see it and continue this run of records that he keeps on breaking and stuff like that. Great for us as well. 6 points out of 6 in the Champions League. Top of the league going into the weekend. If we can just do the business now against Crystal Palace and remain top of the league going into the international break, that would be seen as a pretty perfect start to the season, with the exception of Forest. Really, really important. We're also hearing that Luis Diaz and Ryan Gravenberch are up for Premier League Players of the Month and stuff like that. So Reds, get onto that site and get voting. Vote. Let's go. Let's get these boys across the line. Gravenberch, of course, being sensational. And Luis Diaz has found his shooting boots. Incredible now that he has that finish to match the dribbling and the play that he had in him originally, where he was misfiring. So fantastic result all round in terms of the night. Still very disjointed in the play. I think we'll have to be much better at the weekend against Crystal Palace. We will have a preview for you on Friday for the Crystal Palace game. Always an interesting game, Reds, and if we're struggling a little bit against Wolves and being that bit disjointed, and we're also struggling a little bit against Bologna, Arne has a bit of work to do between now and Saturday morning for that early kick-off, to make sure that we put the 3 points on the board, lay down a marker to our rivals in the league. A difficult place to go, always an intriguing match. Palace always play really well against us. You've seen it last season at Anfield. I was at the game. We were by far the second best team that day. But it's a different Crystal Palace, you know, different. Players have left, and also Glasner are under a lot of pressure at the moment. Talked the other day, Steve Parish, that a loss to Liverpool could potentially find that Parish pulls the trigger. I think that would be a bad idea. I think they need a little bit more time and stuff like that. But yeah, onwards and upwards for the Reds. Always special getting wins in the Champions League. But yeah, difficult at the moment in terms of the disjointment of the play. Really, we just need to focus on, you know, protecting the ball, making the opposition work more harder. Don't be coughing it up so much. The amount of times last night we were just kicking balls away and just kicking balls out and feeling that bit of a pressure and stuff like that. Mo Salah picking up the man of the match. Most people probably wouldn't argue with that, with an assist and a goal, and also continuing that record. But for me, Alisson Becker last night was key. How many saves did he make last night against Bologna? It's just they come up against a guy like Alisson Becker, who's absolutely world class. For me, best keeper in the world at the moment and stuff like that. Reds, let us know your thoughts on the game. Let us know at the moment, Liverpool, what's happening with this little bit of disjointment and stuff like that at the moment. We've seen it last night. Trent not really in the game. Robbo not really in the game. You know, just few little things there at the moment that just kind of aren't working. The other thing that's a little bit weird for me as well, and Dino mentioned it to me last night on the WhatsApp as well, when these players are getting subbed, they have some face on them and stuff like that, but they just haven't played well. These are not tactical substitutions. These guys have to understand. Like, you see Robbo being subbed off, not happy, didn't have a good game. Trent being subbed off, not happy, didn't have a good game. You know what I mean? And then you look at Darwin being subbed off, didn't have a good game, but didn't have a lot of service and stuff like that. But why are these guys so shocked that they're getting subbed off when they haven't had a good game? Luis Diaz coming off as well, very unlucky, should have pulled the trigger just before that. That one where he ran across the box really could have banged a goal there. Cody Gakpo coming on, doing Cody's things, stuff like that, kind of livened it up a little bit on that side as well. But don't be surprised if you're getting hooked. This is a new manager, a new era. He doesn't suffer fools. He doesn't have to feel that he has to wrap an arm around anyone. You either perform or you're coming off. And that's very, very simple. And you can see it as well in his interviews. You can see it in his press conferences. He's quite direct about talking about certain things, even in relation to players. There's no messing around with him. He calls it straight down the line. He calls it as he sees it. So, like, if you're not playing well, don't feel that there's an obligation there to keep you on the pitch. So let's roll on, folks. Selhurst Park, Crystal Palace at the weekend. 12:30 kickoff. Let's stay top of the league going into that international break. As always, folks, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification button, and drop a like on the video. So important to us. And we'll talk to you again real soon. Up the Reds.